Congressman Cory Mills, Republican from Florida, joins me now. Congressman, the White House says, well, they will respond to this deadly attack, quote, in our own time. It feels like they didn't have a plan. What say you?
Well, they haven't had a plan for quite some time, but the goal is not to continue to play reactionary or do a tit for tat with Iran and the proxy militias. The goal is to be proactive and to ensure the safety and security of our armed forces. And I'm still questioning whether or not the outpost or Tower 22 is a necessary thing, given that we haven't had a direct element that needed to fight in Syria or Iraq in quite some time. What is our U.S. national security interest? Is it to try and continue the fight against ISIS? Because I thought that we spent hundreds of billions of dollars in weapons, armament, and training for the Iraq government as well as for others to be able to handle that fight in 15 and 16 out in Mosul as well as up in Fallujah. And so my whole thing is that I think that we need to stop just only looking at everything kinetic. This is not just a bomb-to-bomb, gun-to-gun, bullet-to-bullet scenario. We need to start thinking about how do we cut off the flow of money through economic sanctions, the same thing that President Trump did, and he was successfully choking and crippling off Iran's economy. The over $100 billion in oil trade that is going to China to be refined in other areas that America is inadvertently just buying is funding the actual attacks that are going against ourselves. And so we need to be looking at what is the United Nations Security Council doing and what are we doing to play a more understanding of where the evolution of warfare has actually taken us.
So you think the response should be more economic than military without, responding in kind?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is that if we send a retaliatory strike and we've not increased or done post-blast analysis on how this attack drone actually got through that killed these 3 U.S. service members, then what are we doing other than putting them in additional risk for a follow-on retaliatory attack again? And so there's a lot of analysis that needs to go in this to ensure the safety and security before we just think about strike because someone struck first.
I want to move on, Congressman, to this issue. The U.S. Navy is again lowering the bar to enlist as they struggle basically to recruit people. They're now going to accept applicants who have not graduated from high school or even obtained a GED. I mean, who or what's to blame? Could it be a lack of confidence in the president and our defense secretary? What's going on, do you think?
Well, I think that, as a member of the Subcommittee on Military Personnel and a member of the Armed Services Committee, I can tell you that I've had multiple hearings where we've asked every one of the Joint Chiefs as well as for Secretary of Defense themselves about why the military for so long was prioritizing things like diversity, equity, and inclusion as opposed to increased lethality, readiness, and being properly equipped. We also have to acknowledge 9,600 plus people who were actually purged out of our military unconstitutionally for the vaccination and ignored their religious and their actual medical freedoms. But look, we have a 6,000 recruitment shortage in the Navy. We got 41,000 people recruitment shortage across the DoD in 2023. These are the lowest numbers since the Vietnam era. We have to get back to prioritizing what it is to increase and improve the quality of life for our military, for their spouses, and for their families, and then look at our retention and looking at an actual pay chart that would allow our E1s to E5s to be able to deal with the inflation and the increase of cost of living.
Very good. I wanted to touch on this, too, if we can. President Biden may skip the ceremony honoring those 3 American soldiers killed in Jordan. I can't believe he wouldn't be there. What do you make of that?
Well, you know what? This just goes to continually show the snub that he has made towards our military veterans and our fallen. He didn't go to the wreath ceremony whenever that was happening in Arlington. He was checking his watch as they were unloading those who had been killed on August 26, 2021. So again, continual snub. But even look at Karine Jean-Pierre, who just called them military folks, not the actual heroes or acknowledging the Gold Star families. And so it's another disgusting display where we're not prioritizing a military that serves the United States of America, not an administration.
We'll have to leave it right there. But, Congressman, thank you very much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.